Hello everybody and welcome to a finale in Vegas tonight for the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series, round number 10. It is a final 100 odd miles. We've got to settle out a champion, and it comes with surprising news as well that championship leader, points leader, as of right now, Logan Gill is not able to be with us at the start of this race. He only held 16 points over Howard Peoples anyway, but his absence means that there are 4 drivers in contention for this title now, as all the way down to 5th place Jackson Albright, there's only 53 points covering those 4 drivers who all have a chance of walking out of Vegas tonight with a championship. Myself, Ian O'Leary, and Jim Biggles taking you through the action tonight. Biggles, a shame that the points leader's not here, but what a championship scenario we have.
Yes, it is. It is a bit unfortunate, but of course, there's one door closes and another door opens, and we'll see how these drivers are going to line up for tonight for the finale here in Viva Las Vegas.
It is Vegas time for the final time this season. It's Jason Trocchi who's taken the pole in a very close qualifying session we just saw there. Jackson Pole will be starting alongside on the front row. Row 2 is Brad Compton. And the first of our championship 4, it's Howard Peoples, who is effectively the points leader with Logan Gill not here. He starts from 4th. John Russo's next in front of Brandon Biggs. They're sharing row 3 with the all-championship contender row 4 next. Jackson Albright and Jason McCook. McCook second in the points at the moment, only 15 points behind. Albright 53 behind, does have some work to do. Kenneth Bohm is 9th in front of the final of the championship contenders, Kevin Nerat, who starts the day just 36 points away from Howard Peoples. He starts from 10th. Ryan Keyser and Bill Bondsma are on row 6 there. Row 7 taken up by Joshua Wise and Jaden Mulligan. And a couple of late entries into the grid actually. Leo DeMott and James Burns didn't get time for laps in qualifying. They barely got in time for the race, but they are on the grid, which is about to pull away from pit lane. 83 laps tonight, 125 miles as always in this truck series. Temperature, nothing to shout about as the lights have come on here in Vegas. It's a tri-oval, of course, a 1.5 mile tri-oval here at Vegas. A good circuit, I think, for racing. Good place to have our finale. After what's been a whirlwind end to the season as far as tracks have gone, we've gone for short track at Gateway. We were at road course Lime Rock last week. Been on the dirt in Bristol. We've really had it all. There is the schedule. Talladega indeed as well. We've really had it all in this second half of the season. So a nice intermediate track to end it all off with 4 drivers battling for a championship. We can't hope for much more than that.
No, absolutely. It's going to be super exciting for these drivers. You've got to keep it clean and green, hopefully, as much as you can. You don't want to be on the damage clock too soon in this one. I'm sure these drivers are going to be nervous. I'm sure out there in the chat, there's a few people going to be nervous out there. Let's go 52 as well. Jackson Pole, who is right up the front there, next to Jason Trocchi, so that's going to be very interesting. And these other drivers can spoil the party as well, too. This is when you're going to have, like, your mates. This is when you're going to buy your mate a beer at the pub or something like that, isn't it? So, hey, give me a push, help me out here. Let me win this championship.
Might be a little bit of that here tonight. It might be a little bit similar to what we saw at Charlotte, the last intermediate we had, but that feels like a very long time ago. Back 6 weeks ago, it's probably in January now. It's a long season since then. Say 83 laps on the clock here tonight, and perhaps a surprise front row as well. Jason Trocchi and Jackson Pole, just because they're not championship contenders really. The first of them starting from 4th position. Very unusual to see in a finale. The Oakhouse Racing Truck Series drawing to a close here tonight in Vegas. 83 laps and 125 miles separating one driver from a championship. We're underway here from Vegas.
Not to mention, nobody's using the new Ram car as well, too. The Dodge Ram that's available now on the trucks that they could use. Sorry, not the cars, but I guess you got to stick to what you've had all season long. That's just been implemented a couple of days ago in iRacing. I don't think there's too much. I'm not sure about changes to this track, but I don't think there's any handling changes to the trucks themselves.
It's always that time of the year, isn't it, with the latest updates. You worry a little bit about how your truck's going to behave, and that's a bit of a slide on the inside from John Russo. It's not he who's brought out the caution, but there is a yellow, and it's Joshua Wise, who's gone around through 3 and 4. Now, as I mentioned at the start, or a couple of moments ago, I think this race could be very similar to Charlotte, the last intermediate racetrack that we saw. There was a few green flag runs there, but a lot of cautions as well, and a lot of difficulty in dealing with these race cars. That, though, to be fair, might have been down to a bit of contact with Leo DeMott in the 53, who goes up into the fence, as well as Wise, who hits the fence quite hard as well.
I think you're right on that one. Let's have a look once again on our drone cam. Perhaps we'll have chase cam.
Contact.
There, yeah.
Yep. Just slowing down was wise for the driver in front, and DeMott wasn't quite aware to that quickly enough, and in any case quite difficult to slow down once you've turned in for turn 3. So first caution of the night brought out. We'll see if anybody pits at the end of this one. It wasn't an accident that they couldn't drive back from, and so we might well see some pit stops, some people trying to cover damage repairs, maybe without their fast repair. DeMott in fact hasn't needed a pit stop at all. Joshua Wise the only one to come into the pit lane.
I figured he would have had
as I say, you might well just try and shave off a bit of that damage down on pit lane before we go back green.
Yeah,
again,
go ahead.
So I was just going to say, there are the biggest movers so far. Brandon Biggs, Jaden Mulligan, James Burns all making 2 places so far from the start of the race.
Not sure what happened with Jackson Pole too. He's down 3 positions from that P2 that he started the race in, so maybe just that little shenanigans that happened early, but it doesn't matter too much. They're still in the race. Joshua Wise will jump back out, so he doesn't want to go a lap down, of course. He'll chip out as much of those repairs. About 7 seconds stationary in pit road overall there. So for our finale race here this evening. Ewan?
Your answer on pole, by the way, is he seemed to pull wide into 1 and 2 there. It was almost as if he didn't want to sort of be at the front with sort of row 2 crowding up behind him. He pulled up another lane higher, and Compton and Peoples were able to just slip through on the inside there. It was 3 wide briefly, and Paul just decided to tuck in behind. I mean, maybe a sensible call. In the end, there wasn't any incident at the front of the field that he had to avoid, but he just didn't seem to want to be a part of that, really. He knows this is a long race, and so he's not going to get in anything silly early on.
You're exactly right on that one. It is a long race, and so if you can avoid incidents, certainly do not be a part of them. Pascal's still going to be out there for 1 more lap. The lights will come off very soon, and then we'll get ready to go racing. Ewan, as well, how long do you think they're going to stretch these fuel tanks this evening before, if we have green flag pit stops? When do you think? How deep can they go?
Well, if we see runs like what we just saw, of course, we won't need green flag pit stops, but I reckon this place is probably going to split the race into thirds. So that'll be lap 28 roughly. Obviously you can't divide 83 by 3 quite, but roughly 28 laps a time I think would be the limit. There's a difference between, it's quite a difference really here between splitting it into 2 and splitting it into 3, because to cut it in half you'd have to go past 40 laps. I don't think it's going to be possible, but doing 28 laps should be fine. If not, then just 21 or so to split into quarters, although I don't think they'll do that. It very much depends when the cautions come out, and I think playing those cautions is going to be a very, very important thing to figure out for this race, because there may be quite a few of them. It looks already like these trucks are pretty difficult to drive under the lights here at this 1.5 mile racetrack, and that might well cause cautions. We'll wait and see though as the pace car pulls into pit lane. Jason Trocchi will be in control of the field again. He's already led 4 laps of this race tonight, as he's got that caution very, very early on. He gets us to our first restart of the night. Green flag back in the air from Vegas on our first restart.
Let's go, gentlemen. Get them up the temperature, get it up to speed. Go through those gears, but 3 wide action at the back there. Mostly it's 2x2. Out there in the chat as well too, please let us know your predictions for the champion. Once again, Ewan will let you know those 4 drivers that are battling out potentially for the championship here this evening.
I'll try and keep you updated on that throughout the day. At the moment, How Peoples is fine though, running up towards the front of the field, and that sort of semi-super speedway racing that you were talking about before this race got underway, so trying to get a bit of a drafting partner. It's not quite going to be like what we see at super speedway. It's nothing like it, but you can see the draft is having a big effect here, as Compton on the outside is going to get that draft on Trocchi and draft straight back past How Peoples there for second.
Some of the new graphics that we have here at the moment, map broadcasting, you can see there. at the moment. Third, Howard Peoples, and you can see exactly how he is on the revs there at the moment. Won't be peaking around 8,000 as he's watching Brad Compton on the back there of Jason Crocky. He'll sit there in fourth gear comfortably and just feather the throttle up and down. Of course, that'll get changing a little later as our tires start to fall.
Look how small the difference is in terms of revs. 7,400 over the line, and just dipping below 7,000 there, coming in towards one, then in towards turn 3, 7,300 there. Again, just dipping below 7,000, but only just. The difference in revs is very, very small indeed. That shows you how important the draft is going to be. As Compton now looks to the inside of Trocky, this is where it gets difficult at the front of the group, and they really are at the front of a 13-car group at the front of this race. And finally, for the first time tonight, Jason Trocky loses the race lead.
I think at the moment he's going to be fighting that one back, money to Compton. All the meanwhile, Howard is watching on behind him. Kevin Nerat as well. You've got to be very careful. There's a nice little battle between Jackson Pole, a little bit further back, side by side, I think there. And he manages to secure himself into that P5 position, still 3 down from where he started this race. But Howard's just sitting here at the moment. Got to be comfortable, don't you? Just got to be cautious. You don't need to get to pick this nice battle to lead this race currently at the moment. As long as he's just leading the rest at the field there, he will win the championship. But, at the same time, they're race drivers. They always want to win.
They certainly are side by side. Trocky, Compton, and then Peoples and Nerat in the next row. Jackson Pole is the one saying he's having a smart race so far, Jackson Pole, in these first 10 laps. He has not done anything flashy at all, but therefore has not got caught up in anything either. Now he might try and make a move. Here he is on the inside of Kevin Nerat, who's one of those who's really moved forward in this race. 6 places gained already, and he does need to get on with this if he's going to win the title here and take it away from Howard Peoples, who's currently in position to do that as things stand. Pole on the inside now, just get past Kevin Nerat, and he wants... Oh, that's a big swipe there from Peoples, who didn't want Pole on his inside. In fact, it might have been more motivated by going for the race lead with 3 wide coming in towards turn 1. Will they all give each other room? Compton right next to the wall. Peoples slows down a bit too much on the inside, and through the middle, Trocky's got his nose in front. This is a crazy group. Still 12 involved for the race lead, pretty much all of them side by side.
Yeah, I'm not sure they realise 73 laps to go, gentlemen. So if you want to go 3 wide here in Las Vegas, you are certainly down at those tables in the casinos gambling, because it can easily go all pearl-shaped, and all of a sudden you'll be basically downstairs in the basement there. So that's as you're going to see the situation there. There's Compton, Trocky, Peeps, Heavy. Jackson's just dropped back out of this one. Somebody in the fence there at the moment too, the blue machine. I'm sure who that was.
Jaden Mulligan at the back of the field there. But if he didn't back out of that, or well, maybe he was enforced to because he was scraping the wall anyway, but that would have caused somebody else to get turned, and I think that would have caused our second caution of the night. But such close quarters racing between these guys, and it's been going on for nearly 10 laps now in this green flag run. It's impressive racing, but Brad Compton leads, and only just in front of this group. My goodness, look at that. Peoples and Albright side to side. 2 of the championship contenders making a little bit of contact down the back straight there.
Thing is, I've been impressed as well too with Jackson Pole here. He's been smooth, very, very smooth. He doesn't see no sudden movements. He wants to keep it close to that line. He's going to have to lift off a little bit here now behind Howard. Or switch to the outside, I was going to say, but it didn't seem like there was any crazy movements. Maybe taking care of his tyres a little bit more, some of these other drivers, depending how deep we're going to go in this race. But I would say keep an eye out there for the number 52.
He's having a smart race so far. I think his desire for staying out of trouble, though, might not be answered in this race, to be honest, because I think this is going to be what it's like for the race. You're going to have to get in amongst it, get the elbows out, and take a few risks over the course of the race, because doesn't look like this field is going to spread apart much. To be fair, as the tyres wear, we will see that a little bit, but only a few laps ago the whole 12-car leading group was covered by a second. Now it's 1.7, and you can see a few off the back there. That's Wise and Keyser, and to an extent James Burns trying to make that work, make a reconnection with this front group again. But as I say, as the tyres wear, as this stint runs on, they will split apart, and that's where it becomes different to a super speedway race. But early on, you can see how cramped the field is, and just what a nervy time this is for the championship leader. Howard Peoples at the moment currently down in 5th position. You get 155 points for that, by the way. Kevin Nera up at 170 points for where he is at the moment. That's a gain of 15. And of course, Kevin Nera is 36 behind coming into today. He needs a little bit more than that. Chaser McCook is the one who's got by far the best chance of taking this away from Peoples. They're only separated by 15 points, so with the maximum 175 for winning and also the bonus points for leading a lap and the most laps, and you could well win the title with even Peoples in second place. That's a whole load of scenarios though to think about a little bit later on. These contenders though, all 4 of them are in this front group. Nera in second, Albright in third, Peoples now down to 6th, and at the head of the next group, in fact, Chaser McCook is in 7th place.
Basically, I think all the other drivers, essentially, what you got to do is just focus on winning. Just win, even try to get the most amount of laps that you can, and then just see how it all pans out behind you, because that's all you can really do, isn't it, at the end of the day, if you want to try to win the championship. Not too much that you can control, apart from, once again, just win the race, and then how it pans out behind you. If you've got enough points, you hold up that championship trophy. That's, I think, all these 4 drivers in this championship contention are going to be thinking about really at the end of the day. You don't want to be sitting back going, well, it'd be okay for me to be in P3, I'll still win the championship. You wouldn't be thinking about it right now. The 65 laps to go.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's not one of those races like where you can start to figure out what you need to do to seal the title, where others need to be, etc. You've just got to go out and try and do the best you can. The problem is coming already, though, that we're nearly a quarter of the way through this race and none of the championship contenders have even led 1 lap yet. So yes, they might get their 1 lap led and that's 5 points, but if they all go and do that, it's almost not worth it. They need to lead most laps as well, some of them, especially if you're a bit further down like Albright and Nera. I think they have to go and lead all, well, not all the laps, sorry, but the most laps of anybody anyway. And Compton is stacking them up at the moment. Trockey has also got quite a few to his name to fall back on at the moment. So there they are. Compton's just overtaken Trockey, but that's going to take some laps to accumulate. Wow, Peoples on the inside of Trockey there, and he very nearly turned him coming in towards turn 3. Trockey said absolutely not, you're not coming down the inside, and Peoples stuck on the inside there.
I know, making that truck as wide as possible. Down the dog leg as well too. This is Howard. He wants to maintain that inside. Doesn't want anybody taking him in there. And Howard knows he's got a championship up for grabs here. So once again, they're playing very defensive. Not just your offensive players here this evening. You've got to get out there and do a bit of defensive work, and that's exactly the situation. All this while they're starting to get a little bit of a gap at the moment there to Kevin Nerat and as well as Brad Compton up the road.
And, you know, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier on. This feels like a small super speedway until it doesn't really, and until the tyres start to wear away. We're only a second off our best lap times in terms of wear after over 20 laps, so that's not the severe part. It's just the brakes in the group that you can see here. There's the fastest 5. We're in the mid-31s there. Fastest lap of the race so far is a 30.4 from Jaden Mulligan. With all respect to him, I don't think he's the fastest driver in the field. He was at the back of the big group, though, getting towed along earlier on in the race. And there, indeed, he is. Only just in front of Kevin Nara, Brad Compton, Howard Peoples, Jason Trockey's times, which, dare I say, were also slipstream assisted, as indeed all these ones are. We're already obviously going way quicker than what we did in qualifying, where everybody is alone. 60 laps to go, rather, in the season after this, and you can't be too far away from pit stop now in the next 5 or 10 laps.
I hope you're getting entertained out there. Make sure, if you are, give us a nice like here and hit the subscription if you've not subscribed to the series, of course. Simultaneously broadcasting this on multiple platforms as well. I appreciate y'all, and I'm sure these drivers love to be entertained out there by everybody watching in the audience. I'm still seeing that nice squabble at the moment, essentially for P3 on your pitches. Brad Compton's still in the lead there by it's about a second and change at the moment.
Yeah, this front pairing is well, and that's I guess a lone driver. Brad Compton has really emerged out of nowhere in the last 5 laps or so, but his battles begin to decide themselves. Suddenly, that's of Compton able to get away. So it's what's so fascinating at riding at an intermediate in the truck series. The draft is important to a degree, but also driving skill so important. Just watch the revs here, by the way. See how they've declined. 7,200 in towards turn 3, and look at this, we barely dipped below 7,000 earlier, now going to 6,600 at worst there, so we're really slowing down there, at least 400 RPMs down on where we were earlier in the day. That's just a visual look at how these tyres are changing. You see the power on the straights is no different, still reaching 7,300 by the time they reach turn 1 again, but the dip they're having actually through the turns is, 400, 500 RPMs lower than what we saw at the very start of this run.
It goes to show you how much speed you're going to be scrubbing it. Usually I think they probably get close to about 7,800 on fresh boots and a light fuel load. But the situation you can see panned out quite a bit. Usually some tracks, of course, too, and we get up around that full 8,000. You don't want to hold it on their full 8,000 for too long as well, too. They'll be overrevving it and overheating the engine. Your all-light indicator will come on and potentially get close to even blowing up their engine. But not a problem for Las Vegas here, even. Certainly, as you said, we're going to get close to peaking, and as you see, they'll get lower and lower into those RPM, which will also ultimately take away a little bit of the horsepower from the engines as I try to navigate these full fresh stickies that aren't so fresh anymore as they progress more and more laps. Lap 28 now.
So we have reached 1/3 distance now, or we will at the end of this lap. And as I said earlier, this is where I would expect to start seeing some pit stops, but of course if you're not done on fuel yet, you're not going to be particularly encouraged to do it. There down the inside comes Jason McCook, who's very smartly played this race, I feel, so far. He wasn't very flashy and very quick early on. In fact, his qualifying wasn't so good at all, and his initial start indeed wasn't so good, but now he's moving forward. There he goes to the inside of Trocky, who's moving backwards quickly here. Hal Peoples also comes through. He switches to the inside now, McCook, who's his main championship rival, of course. Can't afford to finish too many positions behind him, and Peoples does slip back in front of Jason McCook. 5 points the difference, by the way, between third and fourth. That's 1/3 of Peoples' advantage, so you can understand his concern about having Jason McCook suddenly a lot closer than he was before.
And Leo did come down the pit road, so I wonder if that's the start of the rest of the drivers coming in or not. Will be very interesting. He's still in pit road, actually. He might have had some damage. Russo's coming in from P12. When's the rest of these drivers going to come in? And certainly, if you're up on the high side right now, where how it is, you're not going to be able to just cut in front of the nose of the 14 to come in pit road. You'll have to get ahead of him or lift.
Well, it's going to set the precedent, I think. And here we go.
Yeah, coming in.
Here comes Peoples. I mean, this will certainly... Careful!
Yeah.
Whoa! Just clips the racetrack there as he comes down low now to the pit road.
Slow it down.
The line is actually quite a long way down there, so he might have lost himself quite a lot of time there. Here comes Jackson Paul and Jackson Albright as well. Same name, different spelling. Here comes Joshua Wise too, Brandon Biggs. So yeah, this is spot coming off now. Only the top 6 remain, and here comes Compton from the lead. They're all going to be coming in now, surely.
Yeah, these pit stops are going to be absolutely crucial for all these drivers. Not the first one that they're going to be doing this evening, but certainly if you get it all wrong, and if you get a speeding pit lane too, you're going to have to come back down again, drive through, penalty, or a stop on your box and hold. So Compton, Kevy, and Jason come in. So just 2 drivers remain at the moment. Jason McCook there, and Jaden. How long are they going to go? 32 laps, of course, on these set of tyres these drivers are done. Is it wise to come in? Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is part of McCook's strategy right from the beginning, because he didn't go out very hard at all. As I mentioned, he just started to make some moves very late on there. So I wonder whether he's purposely taken very good care of his tyres early on so that he can go and run a bit longer. Of course, this means that he can protect himself from any early cautions. It means that he won't get trapped a lap down by anybody. But it also means that he'll get some fresher tyres compared to the others when he comes out, to the degree of quite a few laps here. Now, though, he's going to come in after 33 laps.
He won't be the last one in, but as it looks like Jaden will stay out. Oh, no, he comes in as well, too. My apologies. So that's going to be, can McCook cover off Compton now as he comes in pit road? Where's Brad Compton? He's already taken his pit stop. Goes past him now, of course, but he's just caught up to the lap. And now, essentially, he has to see where this is all going to pan out.
Yeah, already 4 seconds of an advantage for Compton now. After that pit stop, it was half a second shorter than the others, but must have just had a very good entry and exit there compared to the others. He's not quite retaken the lead yet in this race. think he has put a lap on some people here, though, with this latest
comes out.
cycle of pit stops. Here comes McCook.
Yeah, so there goes Compton. For the lead. Quite a margin, too. Quite a margin.
4.5 seconds or so. McCook will be behind Kevin Nera and Howard Peoples at least, so the championship contenders are starting to get their way forward now. All of them are in the top 8, or 4 of them. Jackson Albright there is right behind Jackson. Jackson Paul goes for a slide and he saves it coming off of turn 2. That was from 6th or 7th position there. He's fighting with Joshua Wise, and Jackson Paul goes for a small slide. John Russo capitalises as well, just about gets away with that though.
Yep, he'll be lucky. He'll be happy that the fact that he's kept it out of the fence, or kept it out of the other cars too. And that's the situation after our first round of pit stops have occurred. That's the closest battle we can see there. Jason McCook there and Joshua Wise, and Jackson Albright too. That's all the battle for 5th place currently at the moment on lap 35. 49 to go. Joshua Wise is on a bit of a move, isn't he, through the field?
Yeah, very much so. There he goes down the inside. That's his 8th place game now, into the top 5. Just worry a little bit that he might be going out a bit too hard, a bit too early, because tyre wear definitely did play a role very late in the stint. Not so much early on when the field and the groups stayed together. You'd be surprised if this group splits apart too much in the next 10 laps or so, but by the end of the stint, that's when you really start to pay for the tyre wear. And Wise is moving backwards here anyway. McCook getting through on the outside. Albright is trying to follow him as well. McCook might be a good, decent truck to follow at the moment. He's got 3 lap fresher tyres than Wise and Albright, 2 lap fresher tyres than the likes of Compton, Nera and Trocky, 3 laps better off than Peoples. So yeah, he's going to have that very slight advantage over some of the others ahead of him.
Yeah, push comes to shove at the moment as Jackson Albright. So he's had to back off in that battle that he was having with McCook. And he's going to try to hold off here on Albright. He's going to try to push the Coors Light machine up the inside there. Let's have a look at those ropes that these drivers are doing now, since they've come out with some cool freshies. And as you can see, let's have a look. 7.2, mate, 7.3, yep. Just pushing on 7.3s. Let's see.
Watch it through the turns though. This is where it's just below 7,000 in the mid part of the corner there, only just. But if you remember back to what we saw, and we didn't see it right towards the end of the stint. It was about 6,600 as we were getting there towards the end. I would say it probably dipped as far as 6,500 at some stage. A bit of a slower turn this time around from Albright. Of course, he's got traffic in front of him, which is slightly impeding our data at the moment. But a good 400, 500 LPMs higher immediately as you come out of as you come out the pit lane here.
And they put a lap on Leo. As you can see, just sticks to the fence there to get out of that battle wisely. It's painfully, of course, for a driver to be lapped. Nobody likes to be lapped, but at some points, if you realise you're just not having the speed, particularly today, then you do the right thing. As these drivers are absolutely struggling for it. We've still got Howard and Kevy going for a nice little battle for P2 as well. So we'll go up there for the business end and see how that's panning out. They'll also have a bit of traffic to navigate through soon as well. As they're going to be coming up to the 14th and 15th place there of Kenneth and James Burns.
Peoples has got himself into a good position here as we ride on board in this championship. We're about halfway through, and this first half of the race has gone pretty much as well as it could have done. McCook is by far his biggest championship rival here, and he is 2 places behind him. Kevin Nera is the only one in front of him right now, and he trails by 36 points. So as it stands, 36 points of a disadvantage. He would need to be finishing at least 10th or lower, Peoples, if not worse than that. So that's the sort of long shot that Kevin Nera has got at trying to win this title here. 36 points doesn't sound like a lot, but the way that Peoples is driving at the moment would need something severely to go wrong for him.
Yeah, and I don't think Kevy's going to move over and allow him through at the moment at all. Kevy's going to fight for this position because he needs to keep Howard behind him. In fact, every driver needs to keep Howard behind him if you're battling for the championship. And then once again, just close your eyes and pray to see how Howard's race is going to finish up at the end. But Howard knows himself too, and this is a great position for him to be in. Doesn't need to do anything too crazy or too drastic. And again, try to tell our drivers to remain calm. Relax, my friend. It's never going to happen. They all want to win. They all want to overtake. That's why they're race drivers, my friend. That's the spirit that you have in racing.
Yeah, indeed. 40 laps to go when they get to the line here. Now people's trying their best to close on Brad Compton, but at the moment it's not happening. Compton's led over 30 laps of this race now, and he's really starting to put some laps on people here. Jaden Mulligan and Bill Bonsma are two of those, and here they are fighting for 12th place, fighting for the free pass at the moment. Yeah. Brandon Biggs is next on Compton's list to put a lap down, but he's more than 10 seconds away, so if there's a caution in the next 20, 25, 30 laps even, then it will be these two who are fighting for that free pass. That makes this battle that would otherwise be pretty unimportant quite important suddenly.
That's right, the lucky dog who wants it. That's interesting too. These two battle, they will be approaching them at some point in the next couple of laps. So one thing they don't want to be approaching them, of course, is these two battling side by side, because you're going to have to work your way around it. Unless these drivers just decide, hey, we're going to lift off and let you through. They don't necessarily have to, because once again, these two drivers are battling potentially for that lucky dog position. So, as you can see, Jaden has a little bit of a tank slacker into the fence there. Just wants to scrape a bit of that blue paint onto the yellow fence here in Las Vegas. Pushing his luck, my friend. Get under the tables.
Yeah, indeed. I've lost a bit of time there. Let Mulligan off the hook rather, and so there's a bit of a gap now. There's the 5-lap average again. McCook and Compton absolutely dead level, but that's good enough for Compton. And you can start to see that after the madness at the start of this race, where we all had one big group, that actually the best 5 drivers in this field have gravitated towards the front here. The fastest 5 are all covered by the top 5 in this race right now. As I say that, Ryan Keyser gets himself into the big position, but and he's actually having a good drive tonight. He's just got past Jackson Pole there for 9th place. Ryan Keyser is moving up quite nicely in this one, but yeah, there they are again. People's getting themselves back in there. The fastest 5 are not in the right order with the top 5, of course, but they're all there or thereabouts. So as long as Compton keeps it at that, losing 400 tenths of a second a lap, he can cope with. As Kenneth Bohm goes through the grass, but he stays and keeps it straight, and will stay green.
Enough of the kitty litter all over the track as well, too, thankfully. I think that might be some of the new things they've added here in the iRacing. I haven't seen too much of the grass being thrown up into the track before, not at least on ovals, but let's have a look what happened. Unfortunately to Kenneth, he saved it, thankfully, as a tank slapper, and somehow that's a bumpy road for you here, Kenneth.
It says he changed surface from tarmac to grass again. It just bobble you around, but yeah, look at the grass that's been caught in everywhere that suddenly deposits itself on the inside line on the way towards turn 1, and I think that's such a good way of showing that now with the old gravel model or whatever. What do we call it?
I wonder if it actually does, get on the tyres there. Like, we know that does on the road courses. I mean, you and I have done many road courses races where we've seen all the kitty litter and turf and all that sort of kicked up on the tyres there, and it collects. Yeah, I just wonder how much it affects on the ovals, because I've yet to see too much of that yet.
Yeah, it definitely does have an effect. Back in February, a Daytona 500 broadcast that had a proper qualifying procedure for it, where everybody went out one by one and whatever. It took a while, but one of the big talking points and things to watch out for was the grass being brought onto the racetrack. And just because Daytona qualifying is separated by so few hundredths and thousandths of a second, they had to do a track sort of sweep up, if you like, every time a bit of grass got onto the racetrack, because it really can have an effect. Obviously less of an effect in the ovals. You're much more likely to hit the wall really than go through the grass or whatever. However, it is still a talking point, and it can still have its effect, although it does clear itself away quite quickly. This is the battle for 9th place meantime. 3 drivers involved in it, and this is what Brad Compton's going to catch up to next if he's going to continue on in the way that he is at the front of the field.
That's true. I'll show the track map real quick there. Up there you can see that 1 dot. We're looking currently at the 10th, 9th and 8th dot. Whoa, we have a caution, so we'll scrap that, because they're going to be restacking them and re-racking them, my friend.
It's Leo DeMott, I think,
yep,
who's spun coming onto the tri-oval. Yeah, he has. He's spun down to the inside there. He's landed himself in pit lane in the end.
Yeah.
It's his
Free pit stop.
third pit stop of the day now as a result of that. This one a bit accidental, but he's spun off of 4 and caused the second. There he goes, loses it through the middle of the turn.
Ooh.
Oh, and it snaps back the other way, and then he goes all the way round. Thankfully, it went down on the racetrack, and those 3 were able to survive. But that's our second caution of the day, and this might well bring everybody down onto pit lane.
I think it will. And he's a good job there for Leo to keep it out of the fence. So he's just trying to get it into gear, it looked like there as well, too. You've got to be very, very careful to make sure that you get off the rev limiter, too. Now, you've seen it before, too, Ewan. It's easy to blow your engine as well, too, if you just keep your foot, your pedal, your right foot, on the gas pedal too long. But luckily for Leo, he's okay. Actually, luckily for everybody, nobody really has any serious tank sliper into the fence there. Just a couple of little bumps. We'll see right now. This is the second pit stop that these drivers are going to be taking, and no doubt I think they're all going to be coming in, wouldn't they, Ewan? Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy not to. Whoa, not really.
Whoa. Oh, no, it's a lap car. It's a lap car.
Yeah.
That's Mulugin trying to get his lap back. So that's what we might see a bit of here. People staying out to try and get laps back, but we'll keep an eye on that. Mulugin has already done that. Bill Bonsma, I think, has done that too. They'll both get on the lead lap there for. Mulugin would have done anyway because he was in the free pass position, but Bonsma has done it too. So he can get right back onto the lead lap again. So that's interesting, but everybody else on the lead lap is coming straight in here. Compton blows through his box right at the end of pit lane. Now, is there a chance for somebody to overtake him here as he goes up on the jacks? I think Peoples at least is going to be in front of Compton here, or it's going to be very close. And Peoples wasn't the closest to him. Kevin Nerak was there. He's moving now. There goes Peoples. He is going to beat Compton out first. There he goes. Out first, or has he?
No, Compton's come out first.
Compton has got it out first. Wow. He did survive. He went through his box. I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah,
he went through his box there. Trocky had a very good stop, didn't he? Yep. He only took 2 tyres, though. That's why. And then you've got Kevin Nerat, who took 4. Everybody else took 4, other than Trocky. Kevin Nerat next, then Peoples, then McCook rounding out the top 5. But I'm sure it was Compton who blew through his box and still got out first there.
Yeah, it was Compton,
wow.
But somehow, because Compton's pit stop overall was 16 seconds stationary. Yeah. Everybody else was about 14. That's with the 4 tyres. Jason Trocky was 10 seconds stationary, but he only took the 2 tyres. So that, even with those extra 2 seconds, I guess that's the reason why Brad Compton was lucky he had that gap over everybody. Really, at the end of the day, didn't he? Just to afford that little bit of a slight mistake. Now, of course, in Formula 1, that would have costed you a lot of positions. You kept getting their pit stops a lot quicker, but Compton survives, my friend.
The 2 drivers in front of him there, by the way, are Bill Bonsma and Kenneth Boehm also, who need to pass the pace car now because the lights are off. And they need to go around and get their lap back again. Bonsma, therefore, on the lead lap here. And Boehm only 2 laps down, as opposed to the 3 down he was before. James Burns has landed himself now off the lead lap as well here. But they're not passing the pace car.
Howard going back in again?
Oh, might have put a splash of fuel in.
Yeah, he did.
If he's not comfortable making it
down
to the end. But I think they can make it pretty easily.
Well, obviously Howard didn't see so. He's going to give up all that track position. He'll come back out in 11th place.
Hang on, we're not going green.
They're calling off they're calling it off for another lap, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure why was that, because
this is a mess at the moment. The 2 wave around cars haven't gone past.
Haven't gone through, yeah. Gonna get a move on there, guys. That's the number 27. That's Bill. And right behind him at the moment.
As well.
Are they going yet? I don't think they got it. You got to go, guys. I mean, I think I should have the call up.
Not sure what this is all about, whether there's something going on with iRacing here that's not allowing them to do this, because if it doesn't say pass the pace car on your screen, then you're unlikely to do it. Kenneth Bond's got tired of this and just thinks, well, I'm going to go anyway. And Bill Bonsma should take that as there we go. Yeah. He's got the idea now. So I think that might have been a misunderstanding as to what was actually supposed to happen there. It's only cost us 1 lap though. And we'll be back under green at the end of the next one. As it stands, Howard Peoples is not in championship winning position because of that pit stop.
Yeah.
He needs to have a good restart here and stay out of trouble. At the moment, Jason McCook is taking enough points away from him to be the champion as it stands.
Big gamble. Big gamble. Could pay off for him, obviously, if he's confident to have a little bit extra fuel. You can see it. Just fuel only. It was a very short pit stop. Just sub 5 seconds. So, is he not confident that they can go the remainder 28 laps? Surely go 28 laps on tank of gasoline that you have. He didn't even take tyres. He took tyres, I think, on the previous lap, if I'm not mistaken. My memory serves me well.
Yeah, he did. All four.
Yeah. What about Chockybot just taking 2? Is he going to be struggling a little bit for grip coming to the end of this race if we continue to stay green?
I think he's banking on this not going all the way to green, to be honest, because I think, if this does go the next 27 laps without interruption, then he will be struggling by the end of it. I think at the beginning, though, he might be fine, and that's what he's banking on here. You know, another 10 laps maybe, gets a little bit close to the end, then maybe he'll come in again for another set. You've got plenty of tyres in the Truck Series, of course, and the Xfinity Series in Oakhouse Racing, and so he might be banking on that. 27 laps to go to decide the champion in the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series. We go back green again, and Compton, with the assistance of Kevin Nerat, gets underway and takes the race lead in towards turn 1.
I'll have to keep an eye on Howard Woodman back there in P11. He's going to probably take his time to slice and dice his way through the field here. The rest of these drivers, you got to win. Simple as that. If you're in the championship, just win. See how it pans out behind you. Compton's the man, I'd have to say, beat at the moment. He's had the pace. He's led a lot of laps. 45!
Trocky's gone. And there's a big crash onto the outside.
Wow.
Russo's involved, and is Peoples made his way through that, or is he involved?
No, he's involved.
Howard Peoples is involved. The championship points leader is involved in the biggest crash we've seen so far tonight, coming off of turn 3 and 4. It's brought out our third caution, and the points leader is involved.
I think this is what you said about too, wasn't it? With Chocky wanted a caution, but he didn't want to be involved in the caution.
No. I mean, the balance in the car was just all wrong. He was loose. Look at that on the high side. Just get away from him. He comes straight down into Jackson Pole, who had nowhere to go. And neither did many of the others behind, indeed. I think that's Joshua Wise trying to avoid going straight into Russo. They both spin. And how do the rest of them get on the scene? Pole is caught again. Oh, no, so that's not Pole that time. And trying to find out where Peoples is at the moment. He didn't get much damage there, if any, actually, for Peoples. He was definitely interrupted, but how hard did he hit John Russo? Would be my question for Howard Peoples. He saw it all happening in front of him. I think he was able to get it slowed down enough to not do much. There we go. He saw that coming from a mile away, and he slowed down very early.
This is the only problem when you run at the back, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think there's much damage. That wouldn't be anything.
Very well done.
He stayed out too. Yeah, that was, well, that's a championship trophy in your hands and all of a sudden maybe out of your hand situation moment, wouldn't it? So
that's a championship driver's manoeuvre there.
Yeah.
And by the way, live pictures, we've seen a lot of pit stops in these last couple of moments. Jackson Pole has been in.
Close, he almost hit Howard.
Yeah.
Kenneth. Wow, he survived it too. No, he didn't. He gets tapped there, I think. Oh, no, he's all right. Anyway, back to live pictures because we do have some pit stops and some of the drivers have decided to come back in and take this opportunity. Bill did.
Yeah.
Jane did. Brandon did. And Trocky, of course, he's on the meatball flag, unfortunately, so he's got to get some repair damage to that truck. There we go, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs out there watching, thank you very much. The championship is not done yet, not decided yet. Howard is up to P5. We'll help him a bit. But, of course, another big caution like that can wipe almost anybody out. That's why I think you need to be where Brad Compton is at the moment. You don't have to worry about anybody up the road. Unless the pace car has an accident, I think he should be fine.
Yeah, indeed. He's been leading this race for some time now as Brad Compton. And you can certainly see the benefits of it when we see an incident like that as Ryan Keyser comes in again. Shouldn't be any concerns on fuel now. In fact, nobody should be putting any more fuel into their cars. Maybe there'll be tyres taken on, but no more fuel, you'd think.
Tell you what, yeah. Howard dodged the bullet on that one. He almost got collected from behind. Yeah. He almost got collected there. Yeah, he dodged a couple of bullets with that one.
But
he was very lucky.
You see how early he reacted to what was happening in front before there was any semblance of there being a caution or even actually being a big crash. He saw Trocky sideways and thought straight away, I better slow down, because if I pile into this crash, then this championship could slip away from me. That's what saved him there, the early vision and prediction of the accident.
Yeah, but with Kenneth coming at a drastic speed as well, too. That was you look how quick that Kenneth comes at him. So you can see right there, that's how slow Howard is, and look how close that was.
Yeah.
That could have been, and that's the only problem, obviously, when you are slowing down to avoid the accident, is that, you're going to hope and pray that those drivers that are behind you also do the same thing. And, of course, Kenneth didn't slow down or act as quickly, but, wow. I mean, there would have been massive damage, and that could have been Howard's championship done and dusted. But thankfully, it's not. We get to go green flag racing again, 23 to go.
Green flag, green flag.
Yeah, here we go again. 23 laps to go to decide a champion. People's back, by the way, in championship winning position with that latest pit cycle, because he didn't come into the pit lane when a lot of drivers in front of him did. All four of the championship contenders inside the top 6 at the moment, but Brad Compton still leads and defends, coming onto the back straight here with a big angry pack behind him.
I think you're gonna start seeing it about 10 to go, elbows out for sure. You're going to see 3-wide action here. Everybody's just the last race of the season. Everybody's going to be gambling for every possible place you can get. Of course, these other drivers all want to win this race and hope that Howard can fall back as far as possible. They could potentially win the championship. Ray Crofton, of course, for the first time tonight, apart from very early, under a bit of attack there from Jackson Albright.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's been under such pressure here, Brad Compton, but again, he's seeing it off quite well here. The lap leaders, haven't seen too many of those, but notable that Jason, I don't know when he got his lap lead actually, it must have been when he was running out long in that green flag pit stop phase. He does have a lap lead there, so that's quite important, especially considering how Peoples hasn't got one at the moment. He moves up to 4th though, and you wonder whether a quick dash to the front to try and get that 5 points just to negate the ones that the Cook has got might not be the worst idea just in these next couple of laps.
I think it'll be hard to get past Compton. Compton certainly will have been the Cook's consecutive driver around here in Las Vegas tonight. As you can see, he wants to lead this race, and he's not just going to move over and say, okay, Howard, you can steal a couple of laps from me. I don't think so. Look at the rest of the pressure there behind. Jackson Albright's been trying to get past him for a good chunk of change there, with the 47 up high. That is the Cook as well too. Some drivers getting eager for some passes. Once again, as I said, we get down about 10 to go. I expect to start seeing some 3-way action, 3-wide.
Well, but that would be the conventional wisdom. But actually, as the tyres wear out, the field just generally get more spread apart, or at least that's what we saw earlier. So it depends whether we're going to see that phenomenon again, or whether we're going to see indeed that grandstand finish with lots of people around at the front of the field. Let's wait and see how this run goes, but it's very, very crowded at the front of the field here. All of the drivers who are on the lead lap are involved in this, and some of the drivers indeed fighting for laps back are involved as well. Byrne's the only one who's 1 lap down at the moment, so he's just hoping for a caution here, which would see him get the free pass back onto the lead lap again. But here comes Howard Peoples for 3rd place now. He's looking to move through on some of his championship contenders. Jackson Albright, one of those, the longest shot of the 4 who are involved in the championship fight here tonight. Outside for Peoples, he should be on his way to 3rd place now.
There he is, he just manages to duck out in front of him. Here the drivers jumping down into the dog leg. We get a nice tow at the moment there from Kebby. Maybe if anything, give him a push, wouldn't you? Give me a way that he can get past and do a slingshot around Brad Compton. He's not going to make it easy for anybody to overtake him this evening. Practically almost every lap there.
Yeah, he's led so many tonight, and he has been the quickest driver in this field, has very much deserved it, but sometimes the most deserving driver doesn't always win the race, as Peoples comes down the inside here on Kevin Nera for 2nd position. Into the slipstream in the background, by the way. Russo's coming up. Well, goodness me. He's in the top 5. Albright is in there as well. Looking to the outside, even further outside maybe here of the 2 in front. But Peoples is without slipstream down there. Kevin Nera will stay in front of him again down there on the back straight.
16 laps. Coming up to 15 to go. It's time to get moving. I'm sure Howard would love to win this one, wouldn't he? If he lifting the trophy, the championship trophy, and with a race win, is the best player to do it. But at the moment, he's on target for a podium. If he can hold off these drivers around him, he's just got a nose ahead there of Kevy. I just don't think they've got an answer for Compton unless he makes a mistake, isn't it? Compton's just got the right speed, the consecutive speed. Even though he's not even got the fastest laps, he's still somehow got that little bit of a margin in the lead.
Just very, very consistent here at the front, and he's generally going to and slowly going to wear down the group behind. You can already see a little bit of it actually at the very back end, where some of those without the speed are starting to their lack of speed is starting to be overtaken by the slipstream effect, which was keeping them together earlier, but no longer. Now it's it's a smaller front group, and it's going to continue to get that way. Kevin Nerrat still trying to get this race lead away from Brad Compton, and this is one of the serious challenges we're seeing right now, coming out of the final turn, over the line again, 13 to go, but Compton's still not giving up that lead here.
And if it's a little off-track excursion as well, too, but I think he's okay. Back in P14, yep, in the infield, past the start-finish line, so no problems there. Oh, he's had a spin again. We might be seeing a caution out here. He's on the track. Got to get moving, son. I don't know if he's having some technical issues tonight. He's trying to get it in gear. The leaders are going to be coming around here at the moment at some rapid pace too.
Exactly. This guy's coming around at 180 miles an hour, and he's sat there on the racetrack doing about 8 miles an hour. He needs to be very careful as Peoples gets to the inside and Nerrat again here. Didn't work for him last time. Can he get clear? No, it's not going to work therefore. So Nerrat gets the slipstream off of Compton and comes straight through. There's Benipom, whose chances tonight, he's fought hard actually to try and get back onto the lead lap here after being 3 down at worst, but it's about to get a lot worse for him as he gives up tonight, as that was close into the wall there. That was Russo ending up in the fence, and Jason McCook moving forward into the top 5. Now he's done this old strategy as he did in the first part of this race of conserving his tyres a little bit through the first part. Now he's coming into his own in the second part. Can he overtake Peoples and gain enough positions to go on and win this title?
Oh, it's a lot to ask, isn't it? Considering, as you said, there they are. They're not just making that much of a gain. See if he gets past Jackson Albright in the 88. Cause machine to the right. You're tucking behind him. Actually, it's not clear yet. Spotter would be saying not clear, not clear, not clear. You can see he wants to get past that 22. That's for sure. I'm sure he'd be loving to get past the 47 and the 6 as well too. But it's a tough ask. The Cook can do it.
He's just alongside there briefly, but Albright gets his nose back in front. Peoples wants that bit of insurance policy by getting down the inside, and now look at all 4 of these top contenders, championship contenders, inside the top 5 at the moment, all battling side by side as well with less than 10 laps to go in the season.
Compton's loving this too in his rearview mirrors. He's like, thank you, you guys can battle out all you want. I've got a nice comfortable gap here that I can make a slight mistake and still be in the lead of this race.
By side for second again. This race win looks like it's gone. Compton is running very high now, but he's running at the front. 3 wide, looking for 4 almost. There's Joshua Wise. Albright right on the high side. Nerrat through the middle, and it's Jason McCook on the inside. Now McCook's in real danger of letting Hal Peoples get away at the front of this group, just in the same way that Brad Compton has got himself away from this group as well.
That's exactly right. Howard into P2. Trying to maintain onto that one. I don't know if McCook's going to do anything at the moment here to get past Kevy. The inside just has the run on the into the corners. Whoa! Who was that in the background there? That little tank slapper. I think they're okay. That's Joshua Wise, I think. Yes, it is. He's still okay. Ewan. Still in it, my friend. Didn't cause a caution.
Oh, it looks like we're getting a good green flag run to the end, but as I mentioned, it wouldn't stay together the whole way through. There was always going to be a bit of splitting in the group, and it's allowed Compton to get out front here and lead this race by some margin at the front of the field. 1.5 seconds his gap over Howard Peoples is just trying to keep as much distance between himself and Jason McCook. As far as I'm aware, the tiebreaker of race victories would be going to Peoples at the moment, because McCook probably can't go on and win this race. The tiebreaker is going to go his way. So at the moment, Peoples only needs to finish really in the top 5 to go on and win this race, win this championship even. But McCook's got that 5 points for leading a lap, hasn't he? So maybe Peoples needs the top 4. But in any case, it might take quite something special in these next 5 laps to dislodge Howard Peoples from the top of this championship.
That's right. Howard just needs to bring it home at the moment. He's going to clear. He's a bit clear of these two battling behind him. As you said, McCook is going to throw everything he possibly can. The kitchen sink to the cats and dogs. Oh, look at that. A little bit of leaning on Albright there too.
Surprised that Peoples gave McCook the slipstream there. Chose to on the back straight, when it would be much more beneficial for maybe it's beneficial for him to for them to keep side by side actually, and slowing each other down that way. It might allow him to get away with second place, but in any case it would take a big mistake for Peoples to lose it from here.
Crunch time. End of a season. We're down shy of 3 laps to go. Compton's down the road. He's gone. 2 seconds over these guys right here battling it out. That's McCook there. And Albright. There's not enough time, is there? Even if McCook does eventually did clear, he's got to try to just absolutely got to engage our turbo boost if you got it on that number 14, mate.
Yeah, if he gets past Peoples here, he'll reduce the championship deficit he's got to just 5 points, but that's not enough. He would need Peoples to then lose another 2 places and drop to 5th for Jason McCook to benefit and get the championship his way. But Brad Compton's got 2 laps to go out front here. He's absolutely dominated this race, by the way. Compton, much more of a player in the Xfinity Championship, of course, but he's risen in this series in recent weeks as well. He's currently in 7th place in the point standings, and that's where he's going to finish, I think, even with this. Maybe he actually will move up further than that, actually, and he'll be touching the top 5. But what a drive this has been from him tonight.
Yeah, that's almost flawless, isn't it? Only a couple of lead changes there between him.
Sorry.
Pit stops. You thought that was a caution, didn't you?
Well, that was a caution. Dear God. It's just the white flag thing coming up, which initially appears as yellow. That frightened me quite a lot, but I'm sure for Compton he'll be calm as ever now. He is going to win this race by some margin. As that graph showed there, what a dominant drive as well. He's led so many laps of this race, and he is the deserving final winner in the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series this season from Las Vegas. Over the line, checkered flag, and it's Brad Compton who wins the last race of the season, but behind Howard Peoples is going to win in the point standings by just, in the end, 15 points over Jason McCook. A close championship to the end, decided partly, of course, by Logan Gill not being here at the final race of the season. You've got to be in it to win it. You've got to take advantage of your good luck, and Howard Peoples has done that. He has won the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series here by just 15 points at the end of the 10-race season.
Brilliant work. Brilliant work. And they'll be celebrating, no doubt, himself there in Compton. And the drivers are actually having a bit of a collision. So Compton gets the final race win of the season. And, of course, Howard would get to hold up the ultimate trophy, the championship trophy. And you kind of wonder, what if, isn't it, if we had Old Boy come in here tonight as well, too. But he couldn't unfortunately do it because of his work. And thus he couldn't be there to defend his potential trophy.
Yeah, that's a real shame. It would have been close anyway, you suspect, because McCook was 15 points behind Peoples. Peoples was 16 points behind Gill, so it probably would have been a very similar evening, to be honest, in the way that this would have gone, only with some different names involved. But take nothing away from Brad Compton as well. He has absolutely dominated tonight from Las Vegas. One of the more dominant performances actually we've seen this season from him. He takes his 3rd race victory of the season. That ties him for most with Logan Gill at the front of the race winners, by the way. Howard Peoples, Jaden Mulugin, Frank Marchese and Leo DeMott, who all got 1 apiece. It's Brad Compton who wins here tonight, though, by 2.5 seconds in front of Howard Peoples and Jason McCook, all of whom we'll hopefully talk to in a couple of moments. Jackson Albright finishes 4th in front of Bill Bonsma, who was a lap down not that long ago to end up in the top 5. Kevin Nerra is 6th ahead of Jackson Paul, John Russo, Jane Mulligan and Joshua Wise running out the top 10. Brandon Biggs and Brian Keyser ended up on the lead lap. James Burns was 1 lap down. Kenneth Byrne retired late on there. Leo DeMott as well. I think they did cross the line in the end actually, but 5 and 6 laps down respectively. Jason Trockey did not cross the line though. He was multiple laps down. Let's have a chat, shall we, to our champion in the Truck Series tonight, Howard Peoples. Howard, congratulations on winning the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series here tonight. Just talk us through the emotions, how surprised you are maybe to get to the end of tonight with the title.
Yeah, it was just it's very surreal to win the championship in my first season here. Big thank you to Logan and everybody who helped me get better all year round. Yeah, it was pretty amazing to win.
And at one stage in this, you didn't have it all your own way. At one stage tonight, you were actually out of position in terms of points. McCook would have gotten ahead of you if the race were to have ended at lap 60 or whatever it was at the time. Talk us through that double pit stop, though, under that caution, which sent you right to the back and nearly got you involved in the very next caution that came out as well. Just talk us through your decision-making to come in twice under that caution and then what you were thinking as that was unfolding in front of you.
Yeah, so we would have had about 30 to go on that restart if it would have went green, and we would have been really close on fuel. So I wanted to make sure I had enough to make it to the end and not lose the championship that way. And then on the wreck, I was just thinking to get it slowed down enough and hope nobody run into me from the back.
Well, congratulations on surviving that and going on to win the championship here tonight, Howard. And thanks for coming to chat to us, indeed, throughout the season here at the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series as well.
Yeah, y'all did a great job all year. I want to say thank you to you guys. And also a big thank you to Carolina Wheel Repair and Logan as well for helping me all year.
Thanks very much. Howard Peoples, our champion here in the Oakhouse Racing Truck Series this season from Las Vegas with a second place finish tonight. Let's have a chat though to the race winner, Brad Compton, who has dominated at Vegas tonight. Brad, welcome in. Congratulations on taking that victory. I mean, in a race that was actually quite unpredictable behind, there were lots of positions changing. You were the pretty much constant after the first 10 laps or so where you had to fight for the lead. Talk us through what it was about this racetrack that you seem to really click with in the Truck Series tonight.
It's all about being smooth, man. If I got put in the back, it probably would have been a tough thing. But starting in the front and running up front, just keep being smooth, going around the corners, just saving the right front as best you can. That's where I was really excelling. As soon as we got on, the tires got like 15 laps old or longer, that's when I would start to check out. Plus the cars behind me, with the side draft, they're dragging themselves back. So that's where I would check out on them too.
How do you reflect on this Truck Series season now that, of course, the 10 rounds are over? We know that you're running a bit better in the Xfinity Series, where you're still second place in the championship with about a month or so to go. But how have you found the Truck Series to have come out with 3 race wins, tied most with anybody, but just hovering around the fringes of the top 5 in the championship? How do you assess how it's gone?
I mean, it was a good season. I just had kind of a rocky season. It was hit and miss for me. Like right now at this point, I have 6 top 5s and 6 top 10s, and then 3 or 4 races that were just completely horrible. Then I had the DQ at Gateway. I was leading that race or either running 1-2, so I would have had a good finish there, but it's just a series of unfortunate circumstances. Yeah,
well, fair play on getting the 3rd race win of the season here tonight, Braden, leading all but 13 laps of the race tonight as well, indeed. And thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the race.
Yeah, thank you very much. You guys did a good job all season long. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That's Brad Compton, who finishes first in our final race tonight from Las Vegas. And in 3rd place, it's Jason McCook, who can also join us now as well. Jason, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How are you feeling at the end of that one? In the end, yourself and how Peoples end the night exactly as you started in terms of points apart. That, of course, meaning he just beats you to the title in the end. How do you feel at the end of the season?
Yeah, I feel really good. It was a close one. I was trying my best to chase him down. I don't know if I knew if I got the pass on him at the end of the race. I'm not sure if I would have been able to take the championship. I knew I needed to get around him. If I had another lap or two, I definitely would have had it. All in all, I mean, I thought we had that one early caution. I thought I was going to turn out good with that until we got the caution. I thought I had a pretty good pitch strategy going for that. That was going to put me right back out front. But, we had to play the caution game again. But overall, I think I started 7th. I didn't qualify the best. I'm usually pretty confident at Vegas, and I worked my way back up there and ended up, finishing 2nd place in the championship points, and things seemed to work out. So overall, yeah, I'm definitely happy with the way things worked out.
Looking at your graph of where you were position-wise over the course of the race, you in that first long green flag run that, obviously counting out the very early caution, but the first long green flag run that got us towards that green flag pit stop phase, you generally trended slowly gaining positions throughout. At the end of the race there, you dipped initially on the restart and then gained a few right to the end. Was it a strategy of yours consciously to take it a bit easy in the early part of the stint and just save a bit of tyre back for the end of the stint? Because you certainly seem to, at least compared to those around you, you seem to be getting quicker as the run went on.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my game plan the whole time, is just kind of back off, let those guys kind of duke it out, because I knew we were getting near the end of the race. People start getting impatient. Typically, they're racing for the win, and the championship's on the line. So I just, decided to take it easy, play it back. I was also anticipating maybe a wreck, so I had time to think and dodge, get out of the way of that so I could continue on with the race. But yes, most certainly, I was saving tire, trying to be aware of where I was going to be at with that. Granted, hope they burn it off and I'd be able to take the lead. I still even had one set of tires waiting on me in the pits too, in case anything crazy happened. So, I feel like I was pretty well prepared to at least fight for the win. I came up short, but I gave it a good try.
Absolutely. Congratulations on getting to the top 3 in the final race of the season tonight, Jason. And thanks for chatting to us as well at the end.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Jason McCook there, 3rd place tonight from Las Vegas here in the final race of the Oak House Racing Truck Series tonight. There's your top 3. Brad Compton, the winner in the end comfortably, but it's Hal Peoples who takes the titles here. Here, Biggles, indeed, the one title in the Truck Series. I mean, in the end, he and Jason McCook end the day exactly as they started, 15 points apart, but it did come with some twists and turns here tonight, especially at one stage there on that restart where they had a big crash in front of him. That, I think, was where this championship was put into most doubt, but he could survive all of that, and he came through in the end to bring home the title.
Absolutely, probably the most overtakes as well, too, I think, in the race there for Jason McCook there. But at the end of the day, he just needed more laps. A late caution would have definitely spiced things up, wouldn't it, between those drivers, because they would have definitely put all 3 wide, I think, with Brad Compton trying to Mr. Smooth Operator, we call it on that one. As you said, he was very smooth here in Las Vegas, and that's the reason why he managed to bring that number 6 home with a commanding lead at that. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, Ewan, and that is the end of a season that we've had here. Not the end, of course, of Oak House Racing, because we have more to come as well, too, the Infinity Series, but it is the end of our Truck Series for our 2026 schedule there.
Indeed, it's been fun right from the very first, well, not the first Thursday, of course, that was New Year's Day, but right from the beginning of the year, we've been racing for 10 weeks now. It's been a lot of fun here to be here for the Oak House Racing Truck Series again, and a great championship in the end, coming right down to the wire. But that is it for the Truck Series, so we won't be back same time, same place on the Thursday, but as you point out, Beagles, we will be both here on Sunday nights. We've got still 4 or 5 weeks to go, still at least a month of racing right into April in the Oak House Racing Xfinity Series, and there's still a championship on the line there between Logan Gill and Brad Compton as well, so make sure you check that one out here on Motormouth Broadcasting. But Hal Peoples is your Oak House Racing Truck Series champion here tonight, sealed at Las Vegas in fantastic style after 125 miles of racing. I've been Neil Leary alongside Dean Biggles here on this season of the Oak House Racing Truck Series. Until we see you again on Sunday night for the next Xfinity race, it's goodbye for now.